Showtime!
Hello.
Woo-hoo! Here we are. It is March 7th, and we are here for yet another episode of Chiropractic is Sexy, working on principle number 9. I'm Dr. Paula Ruffin, and
I'm
here
Dr.
with
Erica Peabody, and we are coming to you actually from, I would say, the Detroit region. Detroit, Michigan, where the sun is shining. We're super happy for that.
Southeast Michigan. I think you're still part of the Southeast Michigan area.
Yeah, no, definitely. We are. I'm Detroit suburb.
Yeah.
It is. It's considered a bedroom community.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you have to see this mug. We love you, Grandma.
And where'd you get that from?
One of my cousins made it for one of my grandmas.
Oh, I was going to say what?
And it ended up in a group of dishes that were passed down to me.
It's so cute. And you rescued it? You rescued it?
That's so cute.
That's awesome. I love it. I have this one. This is my...
Oh, love it. Doctor, actually. Yes.
That came from that one time I got to a hotel in Phoenix for an event.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then the lady's like, I'm sorry, Mrs. Ruffin. There's nothing we can do, because they lost my reservation.
Mrs. Ruffin.
And that's when I just lost it. You know, I'm really nice until I'm not.
Until I'm not.
Yeah.
Same. Absolutely. Same.
Comedy world. Hi, Comedy World. Par filling, not water. What is that?
I don't know. It's hot tea.
No, I'm looking at the comment.
I'm trying to override that comment with hot tea.
Yeah, there you go. Hot tea. Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on that, because behave yourself. We don't have Kenny in here, and P Squared to kick people out. I know. Where is everybody?
I don't know.
All right. Well, it is 1:02. I think we do want to get into number 9, but what I would like before we get started, though, is Dr. Peabody took a little trip, and the reason she takes the trip is just to reset. So I would love for you to give people some insight before we get started on number 9. Or does it relate? Does number 9?
Always, right?
Number 9, and then talk about your trip and what that meant to you, and why what you gained from all of that.
Yeah. So number 9, which we will circle back to. So we're doing the 33 principles of chiropractic, which we're both chiropractors. We've been in practice a collective 40. Well, I'm going on 19 years on next Tuesday. So,
6
or
years
in private practice. So whatever that turns out to be, a collective 45 years together. And well, not together. We've only been together for like a year. Well, are we together? We're a thing. We're a band.
Changing lives.
Our band
for a really long time, right? Yeah.
So principle number 9, though, is the amount of force created by intelligence is always 100%. So when we talk about that universal intelligence coming down through the body as innate intelligence, and that it goes out into the entire body and basically keeps it in working order, and that force is always 100%, no matter what the matter is. So the matter can be injured, but the force will always be 100%, no matter what. And it's always working to be involved in compensations, healing, growing, moving, breathing, doing all of our vital forces. Here we go. Our peeps are here.
Yeah. They're flowing in.
They're flowing in, just like universal flows.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and if I can make a comment on that real quick too, that when we talk about 100%, keep in mind that it's 100% for you, for where you're at. So let's say today you go in and you get your gallbladder out. You're now not 100% at that level with all your functions and all your organs. You're now at a different 100%, which is actually less than where you really originally started. So the matter and the intelligence meet where they're at to function at 100%. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you for spelling that out, because these principles, they do sound like they're circling back on each other. And then we're going to get into the meat, into the nitty gritty, starting about, in 2 weeks from now. It starts to get
We haven't been nitty gritty yet.
Well, yes, but it sounds like we're repeating the same thing. That's what I'm noticing that the principles are, but it's not. It's just the subtle nuances. So the full 33, and one of the things Dr. Paula always says is that these principles, they've never been recalled. They've never killed people. They've never, we just keep moving through. Chiropractic was developed or invented, discovered. I don't know, invented, discovered. It's such a weird thing to say about a profession. But it was started in 1895.
Created?
Created
on my birthday, by the way, just so you know, on my birthday.
Yes,
I wasn't born in 1895. I mean, I look really good for my age, but
yeah. Fabulous. But it really hasn't changed a lot. It's not like we're new and developing a whole bunch of different things, because the bottom line is the body works better with a good nerve supply, no matter what. So the universal intelligence, as we were talking, is going out to the entire body, no matter what, no matter if you had a surgery, no matter if you have an injury, no matter if you have an organ removed or a knee replacement or all of that, still working at 100% according to what matter is there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Just wanted to restate that the same way that Dr. Paula did, just a little tiny bit different. So anyway, I do want to talk in this realm in the same way about my trip over the weekend. So I'll share a little bit about it, but really what I know for myself, and I would love all of you to check in for a second, is that I don't want the year to go by without me having a grasp of the year. So my practice and Dr. Paula's practices, they will literally start January, whatever is our first day working back, and take off like wildfire. And so I take a week off in the middle of the summer, and I take a week off at the holidays, but every 6 months is not enough. And, I work 3 days a week. So people say, you only work 3 days a week. Well, I can tell you, if you knew the level of work that's going on during those 3 days, you will realize that it's not the only thing that's possible, but at this age, at this level, it's like, there's not enough energy for any more than that. And there's not enough energy to do that straight 6 months like that anymore. And I decided, I want to say it was probably 2017 or 18 that I would never go through a quarter without taking an extra long weekend. And because of my weekends are Friday, Saturday, Sunday usually, and then I work Monday gangbusters, and then I have Tuesdays off. When I take that extra Monday off, I get 5 days. And and I do my best not to be on any schedule. So I'm wondering if your years feel like that. I have a lot of patients come in and say, I'm at the end of the year and I haven't used all my vacation. Well, this is what I can tell you. You're doing the year wrong. And I really mean this in so many ways, but especially for your health, your mental health, your family health, your relationships, your just recuperation. So initially, I always like to go out to Colorado and go snowboarding this time of year, just because it's warm and sunny usually. And you're vacay. October. Yes, you're doing the year wrong. So that's usually what I do, is I choose to go out and get on the slopes out west. However, this year I'm just like, my friends are, I don't want to call them aging out of getting out on the slopes, but they just have different priorities than we did in the past. And so I end up going up there in Colorado by myself. All my friends are in Denver. Not all of them. I have many friends, but a good portion of them are there. So I just changed it up and decided to go down south instead, jump on a plane to Atlanta, which is a really simple 1.5-hour flight from here, and rent a car and have no time schedule. So I wake up in the morning, I decide. I wake up the next morning, I decide. I wake up the next morning, I decide. And so I popped in on a few friends along the way. They're like, why didn't you tell me that you were coming down? Like, why didn't you say you were here? Because I'm like, I didn't want to be obliged to any particular schedule. So it was really like, as soon as I got on the plane, it was Thursday night last week. I start to relax at that point, but it was Friday morning when I'm like, I get to decide my time. I get to let these days unfold. I want you to just ask yourself, do you have those days? there was this thing I put out earlier. It was like, do you ever have a chance to sit and think? Or do you ever have a chance to actually just sit? And it's so healthy to let, especially for me, I can really feel my whole entire nervous system come down and relax. Yeah, for sure. It's such a common thing, P squared. It really is. It took me 20 years to convince my husband. He's a retired police officer, fatal accident investigator. He needs downtime and he finally gets it. So yeah, it took me, that was probably 15 years into practice or somewhere close to that, that I was finally like, okay, like I need to just get off the clock. So what I decided to do, was go back and visit my chiropractic alma maters. So I have two. One of them that I claim because I was always going to go to Life University. That's in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where I flew into. And the other one is up in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And there was basically a political standoff with the president while I was there with the accrediting agency. And so I had to transfer to a different school up in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And it was like, for whatever reason, I always like to take a moment to turn around and look back in order to move forward. I have a big, big outflux of energy right now and a really, really big shift in life happening right now. And it's like, okay, this is getting the best of me. The year is already getting the best of me. I need to just have some downtime. So that's what I did. And I just had a car. And unfortunately, Hertz Rent-A-Car gave me a car with a slow leaky tire, which is so obnoxious. Oh, gosh. But I just let them deal with it after I turned it in. And, it was just had the open road and some tunes and some time, visited some friends, revisited some old stomping grounds. So it was so revitalizing to my system. And now I feel like, okay, I do have a kind of an extended weekend coming up the end of April. And then I have a week off at the 4th of July. But now it's like, I can do these bite-sized chunks. How do you guys feel? How do you feel about your year? So thank you so much for sharing what you guys have shared so much. But what about you, Dr. Paula?
I resonate so much with that. So I'm not as disciplined to just take specific times off because I don't know if this is fortunate or unfortunate, but I have certain things like I'm going out to meet my friends in California for 5 days. And we've been trying to plan that. So that is a planned time off. I'll be in California for 5 days visiting my alma mater, Palmer West, and they're closing the doors on the school because it's too expensive to live in California. And there's Palmer, Iowa, and there's Palmer, Florida. So they just can't get people to come out to California anymore.
Well, to break that too, California isn't a desirable place to live anymore.
No,
especially
not like it was.
The chiropractic lifestyle. So people are not going that way anymore.
And what's really interesting about that is that I wanted to live out there. I wanted to stay out there. And I came home and I mourned that for years. And now I'm like, I am so glad I'm in Michigan. I'm so glad to be back home. I've never had regrets for leaving California, but based on, again, the cost of living, the social climate, the political climate, I'm like, that is not an environment that suits me. And, my girlfriend, Dr. Heidi Roble, she was practicing up in Northern California, and she felt handcuffed by everything. She
politically, medically, all the things,
all the
children,
things,
educationally, all of it.
It was like people, where she was at, Alameda County, if you were walking down the street all by yourself and didn't wear a mask, people would take pictures and report you. And she's like, I have a business, so I have to walk around all by myself, regardless of where I'm at. So so I'm super glad to not be in that environment, but I'm really glad to be going away. And the interesting piece is that, Dr. Erica knows I know a lot of people out there because I lived out there. And I'm literally stacking up in my head. I'm like, I'm not going to be out there long enough to meet go see all my friends and connect and visit with all the people that I know. I'm like, should I take the whole week off? And because it would be, I haven't been back since I moved in 99. So it's going to be really amazing to go out there. There's not going to be much time to sit and work on the business. So I'm going to have everything really be diligent about what I do and what I'm leading up to, when I'm leading up to going, what's in place so that I don't feel like I'm working against myself when I get back. But the beauty of taking a vacation, and this was an aha moment I had a few years ago, was my daughter had to have knee surgery. And she said, can we just go take a trip for spring break before I have to go have surgery? And I said, yeah, let's do it. So I booked us a trip, and we went down to Florida, and a good friend of mine who's also a chiropractor, her dad has a house right on Anna Maria Island. And for people who go to Florida, like AMI is it's a magical place. And so she said, yeah, my dad said, you guys can stay, come on down. So I was stressing out about like taking a vacation, taking time off, but I knew I needed to do this for her. So I ended up, I forgot where we were, and I was booking the ticket. And as soon as I hit send, this wave of, I feel like I told this story last week, this wave of relaxation and calm came over me. And I was like, wow, I'm going to get to let my foot off the gas. Yeah. So you allow your body consciously or subconsciously in your brain, allowing your brain and your body that time that I get to look forward to doing nothing if I want to and everything if I want to. Mm-hmm. But it's a reset. It's a time to reset. But then what was also interesting was, because I knew I was leaving, and I think the trip was going to be 3 or 4 weeks away, I was like, oh, I can go hard now. So my brain did this weird, like, we're going to relax. Oh, thank God you're letting us relax. Oh, but, oh yeah. And then, so I actually got this like renewed energy to do all, get all of the pieces into place before I went out of town. And then I just completely relaxed. So it's really spectacular when you think about planning that time, what it does to you mentally, emotionally, and on a subconscious level. Your body and your brain really need it. Mm-hmm. And I want to just say this too, is that I called my daughter, whatever day that was, I don't know, can't remember if it was this week or last week, was it last Thursday or something, that really nice day we had, and it was like 70. I know we've had a couple of them. But I called her and I said, what are you doing? And she said, well, she went to yoga, and she came home, and then she had class later on. And she said, oh, I'm just sitting outside. She said, I just wanted to come out and spend 20 minutes just to think. She goes, I brought my towel and my journal outside. And I'm like, you guys, this is my 19-year-old daughter. And this is when I always talk about leaving a legacy. She carves time out to think, to be creative, to doodle, to journal. And I've talked about this so many times, is that you need time for your brain to decompress. We don't, go out and take the walk, but don't wear the earbuds. Listen to the sounds of nature. We don't always have to be filling our brains with things. So get out, get quiet, allow your body and your brain to have that mental reset. So,
yeah, it's so good. I think, and probably if you guys, you don't have to do this, but if you were to close your eyes, you can feel what level of frenzy you are at. And one of our great friends and colleagues at the holidays this year, she wasn't asking people, how were your holidays? She was asking people, how did your nervous system do through the holidays? So I want to ask you on this Thursday, how is your nervous system doing with this week? And it just, everything shifts all the time. But like, what level on a scale of 1 to 10, if you close your eyes and you really think, like last week, this time for me, I've been redlining, you guys. I really have. And it doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve my immune system. It doesn't serve my body. It doesn't serve my brain, because I'll redline other places so that I can be 100% here for the patients, above and beyond everything, including myself. I think that's one of our toxic traits as just servants out here helping people, is that we will deplete ourselves, we'll steal from ourselves in order to do that. So after getting in the car, it actually took me, Friday I went to and walked around one of my schools and took a bunch of video content. If you guys are following me, I did a reel from there. I'm going to do a reel from my other school as well. But it was like what I really felt there when I walked onto campus for the very first time and who I am today. And I'll try not to get choked up about it, but it was like so eye-opening. If we don't stop and take a glance, we lose everything that we've done. And the universe needs to know that we're celebrating along the way. But I also know that it was like my body and the intelligence inside my body is working at a raging pace because life is requiring that of me, which that's why I'm grateful for my dogs. They slow me down. You can see my doofy's tail over here. But it's those kinds of things where we start to really compromise ourselves. We start to compromise our health. We're compromising our nervous system. So ask yourself, how is your nervous system this week? Where is your nervous system at? We can help with that. We can help with that. Because when you get that frenzied energy, you also get cortisol and adrenaline and all of those hormones running through your body. And we can't run like that. Cortisol at that level on a chronic basis, it's there because it's supposed to be quickly used. It's not supposed to be there all the time. So that frenzied energy, not supposed to be there all the time. And quite frankly, it will kill you. So how
slowly,
can sadly,
very slowly,
really, truly create big time diseases that start off slowly and quietly until you're like, all of a sudden, needs the world to just calm down. Exactly.
Right. I love that.
People come, and we say this a lot, but people come in and they're like, I'm not under any stress. I'm like, excuse me. We're also in an election year here in the United States. Like,
it's only going to get worse.
Real?
Yeah.
There's an underlying low tone that really affects everything that we're doing. So I got in the car with some tunes, and it was like, it was truly a deep breath of life. And I am going to challenge Dr. Paula in this moment right now, just to make sure you have something on your schedule, not only for California, but for the fall too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that is the challenge, to take the time.
And actually put it on your calendar now, trying to figure out, well, I always take the week of the 4th of July off. I don't know if you do that, but
I don't, but I think I'd like to. I think I should do that. So yeah.
Everyone's running all over our state in particular, because we have the auto shutdown happens at that time too. People are using their vacation homes. There's all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I just want to challenge you to put some stuff on your calendar.
Thank you. Well, and we've been also talking about February, that because of February, we go just full force through the holidays. So there's all of that stress. Then it's the beginning of the year. And so for us, it's like, okay, now we're coming through the year and practice and get the practice going and, get the year started. So we have all of those moving parts. But then a lot of people are super stressed out because they spent so much money at the holidays. So you go into the fall just screeching, and then you come into January and then you're like screaming, and then we have winter and we don't have sun, and then you're eating like crap and you ate like crap through the holidays. And so then February, right? It's like February. So I think February is a great time to take time off. And here's what's interesting. I don't want to go to Florida in February because it's not warm enough for me down there. So if I'm going to leave here in February, I need to get near the equator, right? I was talking to some friends who go to Costa Rica every year. They're yogis. I don't know if you know them. They own a yoga studio in Plymouth. And they're like, come with us next year. I'm like, I would like to go with you to Costa Rica. And they go in February every year. I'm like, yes. They're like, oh, it's hot. It's humid. It's amazing. I'm like, yes, please. So, and I think it's I don't know, I think they said it's 2.5 or 3 hours from Atlanta. So easy. But also just remembering, trying to figure out with your circadian rhythms, where is your downtime? We all know when we have our most downtime, when when our brains work best, when our bodies work best, when it doesn't work so great. And for me, it's February. So I don't know why it's taken comparison. I love it. I would love somebody to drive me everywhere. Actually.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But that's where it's recognizing, when are you most magnetically unattracted, right? What do you call it when repulsed? When are you most magnetically repelled from the things you do, whether it's your job or your home, meaning like you got to get out of the house or anything like that? Figure those pieces out and then carve that time in there, right? And maybe you just get in a car and you just drive somewhere and you go have a weekend, or a day, or I've even said too, like just because this is a big time of year when just burnout in general happens.
Yeah.
So taking a day off of work, and if you take a day off of work, don't even clean your house. Like just do like nothing. Do something other than something that you normally do, right? So.
Right. Well, and to your daughter Hannah's point is like, what if we need to take a little vacation or like half a day off of our phones, or like set it down? I want to challenge everybody to set your phones down for half a day in the next week before we see you next Thursday, and give your body time to think and rest and regroup. Because what happens is we are so addicted to the dopamine hit of constantly being connected, myself included, Dr. Paula included. Like we are included in that as well. And when we can literally like start to figure out what half a day every week can you just set your phone down? Can you leave it behind? We are okay. I mean, you know what? I was thinking about this because I passed a payphone the other day. There was no phone involved. There was a payphone like holder.
Booth,
I don't know, a booth, but not a booth. But like, you stand outside and put the payphone. And I was like, are we really? I don't know. We could probably pick up anybody else's phone, but we don't have any phone numbers memorized. So I'm thinking like, can we go without our phone? Could we go like half a day and be on the road or something like, or is it half a day needs to be at home? Just in case. I don't know. I'm like toying with this idea. I do it a lot. I just set it down, and I like to pick my phone up when I'm at the office and during my week. It's always close to me, but on the weekends I'll set it down for multiple hours at a time. So anyway, it's the dopamine hit that we want, the connection. But what if you sat down and just connected with yourself, just connected with the earth, just connected, like look out into outer space. Every Sunday I like to be home by 4:00 and just spend some deliberate time staring into outer space like we used to as kids, right? And how relaxing it is.
When I'm out working in my garden or working in the yard, the phone's in the house. It's not near me because again, I'm outside. I don't even want to have music streamed. I just want to be outside. I want to hear the wind. I want to hear the insects. I want to listen to the birds. Like that's my music. That is what fills me and fuels me and relaxes me. So my phone, but I don't make deliberate time to do that during the week, which is also, during the winter. But also why I refuse to wear an Apple Watch or one of those trackers, or I don't want my phone buzzing every 4 seconds. That's too much. So I would encourage each and every one of you, if you have an Apple Watch, you don't need that. That is connecting too much to all of this. You don't need it. People will find you. We never leave our phones for more than 5 or 10 minutes anyway. The ringer's on. Like, it's okay. Like, you really need this to get more. Every time like Dr. Erica said, it's that hit of dopamine, but it's also cortisol. It's freaking stress because you're like, oh, I got to turn it on. And you know what? It's disruptive. I'm trying to adjust people and they have one of these on and they'll pick their head up off the table and go, oh, it's my kid. Oh, it's my da-da-da. Oh, it's my da-da-da-da. And I'm like, shut up and lay down and freaking relax.
Yeah.
Give it a second. 3 minutes. It's going to take me to adjust. Like you can do without, you know what? Actually, I'm going to start having people take off their watches now that I'm having this conversation. I think in this moment, I just made a decision.
Made a new rule. Yeah. So I was actually adjusting a patient yesterday and their watch was going off and it was their who was it? Their daughter, it's somebody that I know and also adjust. And so they're like, if you hold whatever, I was stretching them open this way. And so it was like right by my left hand. And they said, if you, whatever, you might actually answer that phone. I'm like, I just pretended like I did. And I started talking to her daughter just, because it really is ridiculous. I didn't actually answer it, but I pretended as though I did. And I just had that little start of a conversation. And, life doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't have to be that way. And I actually have patients who wear the Apple Watch and they have a burn mark. They have a burn mark where the watch sits. So I want you to really consider, Dr. Paula and I both wear the Aura ring. So this is a tracking device. I really did it to hack my sleep. If you guys don't know Aura, reach out to one of us. We actually have links that we can give you. I think it's like $40 off using one of our links, but it's a really awesome tracking device without having to have a watch burning our skin and putting EMFs around us on a continual basis. I also, speaking of EMFs, the earbuds, really be mindful. You're putting EMFs like right into your brain. I'm probably one of the only people at my gym that has the freaking cord that I'm like wrapped in, and I'm like getting my earbuds situated. But I'm like, I'm not wearing those earbuds, even though they would be so convenient. I just, we got to be really mindful of some of the stuff that we're putting on our bodies, because that is also just increasing the stress levels just because of that, the chemistry and the signals around us. So
just being super mindful of all of those things.
And they're good to wear once in a while. And a lot of people do, but it's just, don't have them like, take them out, talk to the cashier.
People walk around. My IT guy, he comes in and he still has it's like he went to the 1995 store and he had the one that
wraps around the ear.
Wraps around your ear. It was like one of the original Bluetooth ones. And I'm like, and he walks around with it and it's on his head all day. That's brain cancer, you guys.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
We don't want to be doing that. And I think I wear my AirPods when I'm at the gym. So I probably have them in an hour on a Wednesday and Friday. And then I take them with me to the grocery store. So if somebody calls, or I'm going to, or if I'm in a store or something, and I'm walking around, I need to have a phone call. So I don't wear mine. It's, but again, these people who you have them in constantly, or you have one in constantly, or the kids at the gym, the kids that work at the gym, they always have one in because they want to listen to music in one ear while they listen, and that's not good for you either. That kind of like wonky input is crazy. So get rid of the AirPod. I don't mind that you wear them because we're all being killed slowly anyway by some kind of frequency.
Yes.
But
pick your poison. Just don't do it all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. The 80s bending the headphone cord to get both. Yes.
So funny. Oh my gosh. I was just sharing a story 2 days ago, or no, let's see what day. I was at Sherman on Monday. So 3 days ago, I was sharing this story that I was out for a run and I did have the ones that wrap over. They do that, wrap in, but they were connected to a Discman that I was running and holding the whole Discman. So funny. It's really incredible how far we've come with technology. And a lot of it is actually really good, super beneficial. That's how we can even connect with you here. So we're not like downplaying it completely. We just want you to think about when you have some downtime to actually take the downtime for being down.
And create the downtime, right? Yeah. I think being deliberate and intentional about your downtime. If we're going back to principle number 9, and we want your nervous system to function at 100% along with 100% matter, then you've got to make sure that the 100% intelligence, that it matches. So because all of those EMF inputs, the toxic chemicals in our world, poor food intake, it just, poor mindset, it just decreases that intelligence. And it's just not able, it creates too much interference and it can't get up through that. And so we want to make sure we're removing as many of those interferences as possible so that the intelligence can then come up and match and meet.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like in Star Trek.
I don't know what a tricorder is.
I don't either. I thought I'd put it up there because I figured there might be some I was never a Star Trek fan. I did always want to beam myself up though. So
yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Teleport, please.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, what's the superpower you want? Teleportation.
Teleport, right.
For
right.
sure. For sure. For sure.
I had not heard of that, Uncle Al, but that doesn't surprise me that Apple Watches will sometimes explode. I mean, if they're going to burn your skin, I mean, cell phones explode. It's all the same technology. So it's just getting smaller and smaller. But yeah, so taking that time, and then how do you take the time? If you're not journaling, if you're not just sitting quietly, and I've had this conversation often. Hi, Lou. Hi, Louis. Hi, Mr. Louis.
We say hi, Lou. I don't think Lou's been on the podcast before.
I don't think so. Special guest star, Louis.
Louis with his man bun, although it looks like a ponytail right now. Did you need to have a big hug?
He could you could put a mullet on him.
I know.
He'd good with a mullet.
Have a big hug.
He's like, you're making fun of me, Mom. I forgot what I was saying.
We were talking about the Apple Watch exploding, and
let's see, being deliberate and intentional.
Sorry.
Oh, I know what I was saying. Was that a lot of times when people talk about, I can't meditate, or I can't, my mind is always racing, and that's how most people are. This is what being a human is about. And so meditation is not so much about sitting and clearing your mind and going om. You can walk and meditate. You can move and meditate. What it is just allowing your brain to. So if you're trying to clear or just focus on one thought, and then your brain's going off into a million pieces, meditation is the art and the ability to reset and come back to that original thought. It doesn't mean you're going to clear your mind and you're not going to have the clutter, but the practice of it is how good can you become at eliminating the distraction and coming back to a central thought or idea. And that's often where, again, if you're trying to walk, if you're taking a walk and you've got AirPods in and you're listening to a podcast or a book or whatever, and Eric and I, we are doers. We just get shit done. We always want to be doing something. We always want to be crafting something, working on something. But we also recognize we have to take that time off. It would be very easy for us to never, ever slow down. And when she talked about, people are like, oh, you only work 3 days a week. Yeah, our brains would explode if other chiropractors do it. I don't know how, but when I work Monday and Tuesday, I go into Wednesday and I'm exhausted. Like I need all of Wednesday to recover. Which is also why, like, if I take a vacation where I'm thinking when I go to California, I'm in the office Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. I think I'm going to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then head out of town on Thursday. It's already stressing me out that I have to work 3 days in a row. And then figure out time to pack and all the things. So you also have to, know your body's limitations and work within those and be kind to yourself. Right.
Yeah. The one thing that if we don't take a moment to sit back, sit down, look around, our body will send us down the path to do so. So, and a lot of people realize this, we never have time to get sick. Right. But I do have to tell you, in order to not have to be purposely sat on your behind by the universe, sending you whatever it is to deal with, we have to do that regularly. And I can guarantee you 100% that if you begin to take a little bit of time for yourself to do some thinking, you're going to be so much better off for it. You will not be redlining, which, and like I said, I naturally will redline. I will naturally fill it all up. It will naturally by default fill. And so I just make sure that I'm setting this deliberate time in order to, unwind, settle down, get the frenzied out, relax that. And so.
I know. And this is so great. Never would I have thought in the 80s, I have a phone, computer, calculator, Rolodex, and typewriter, copy machine, and all the other things in a single handheld device.
I know.
And what did we do back in the 80s? We left our homes for hours, and there really weren't any emergencies. Right now, it's like, what if there's an emergency? I have to have, which is like our tolerance for what if there's an emergency, like it's smaller and smaller. I can't walk outside without my phone. I can't go to the bathroom without my phone. So this is part of the bigger issue. It's like we were so free back then, but yet now I don't know. It would be a social experiment for me. I don't think I could leave the house without my phone. I don't.
Yeah.
Because there's also 27 other things that I would do with that phone. It's like, well, I'm going to take a video. Oh my gosh. I'm running into somebody. I got to take a picture and post it on social media. Like, and we didn't get to take pictures. You know where our pictures were? They were all up here.
Yeah.
All the things that we got to just store in our beautiful memories. So until they decided to put cameras on phones, which I thought was the dumbest thing on the planet.
Yeah. Who needs a camera like that? I mean,
can I just get a phone, please? Yeah.
Can I get a phone for the phone?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so true. Dimes. Do you remember when a phone call went up to a quarter? It was like, cause it used to be 20 cents or it used to be 10 cents. And then it went up and it went up to a quarter. I was like, oh my God, it's so expensive.
So funny.
Oh my gosh. All right. So go walk the AT where there's no service. Guess what suddenly it's all about. What's the
Appalachian
AT?
Trail?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm going to be out in the Redwoods. So at least back in the day, we didn't get much signal out there, but we also didn't have cameras on our phones. So we had beepers. Those are the days of beepers when I lived in California.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. And if my dad beeped me or somebody beeped me,
you'd have to get to a payphone and call.
Yeah. There was no payphone in the middle of the trail. So, all right, this was great. So let's recap. So we've got principle number 9. Read it again for us.
So principle number 9 is the amount of force created by intelligence is always 100%. So yeah, I mean, we'll use the principle as a prompt and we'll always veer. Like that's kind of our point, is to tangent off into something that's super relevant for that particular week. And also just realizing, like, if your body is having to deal with all of this stress, that your innate intelligence is using it towards stress, managing stress rather than healing you. And so every adjustment that we get, it brings our stress levels, stress hormone levels down. And it's the greatest reason to get adjusted. It's really interesting in our practices because people are under so much stress when they're in a lot of pain, right? And pain is technically is a high reason for people to seek out chiropractic care. It's not the only reason. It's actually a very, that's like a fraction of a percentage of what we work with, but people think of chiropractors for that. And once they get going, like they'll come in a bad mood because they're in so much pain and under so much stress, and the stress hormones are running wild in that amount of pain. And they don't know what to think about the office or do with us in particular. And so we just start getting them started, and then 2 visits, 3 visits, 4 visits, we can feel their entire system come down. And so we can it starts to get into like the rest and digest and heal and feel and heal truly. And that's really where the adjustment sits so well. And then that intelligence that's always working at 100% doesn't have to be so compromised by our life in general. So yeah, it's a really beautiful thing. And, we always love to just be here to chit chat with you guys and help make it relevant to what you're doing. And, taking on the challenge this week of setting your phone aside for a half a day while you're just hanging out. You're like, put it away, put it in a drawer, put it where you can't see it, and just let it be and see how you are. And
well, and it's bad when I mean, we're so used to having our phone around us, and you come to your phone and you tap it because you're like, did somebody text me? Or, you're always looking for it for information. How many times have you tapped your remote control thinking it was your phone? How many times have you tapped some other inanimate object because you thought it was your phone?
Yeah.
And I've done it. I'm saying this because I'm like, it's ridiculous that we see inanimate objects thinking it's going to be our phone, and we tap it because we're so addicted to that hit. Right. So I love Dr. Erica's, let's just set them aside, maybe plan like a day a week where you just set it aside, start with an hour, a half hour, but just something to release your brain from connecting from that.
Release your brain and also realize what your brain is doing. Yes. When you're not around it, then it's like, it's really pretty intense. So
yeah.
Anyway, we'll sign off for now. It's always so great.
Number 10 real quick?
Yeah, principle number 10 is the function of force.
Function of force.
Function of force.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much for being here. As always, I'll see you on Sunday for Sunday Night Live. And until next week, remind yourself of the chiropractic principles, find yourself a good chiropractor. Let's get your nervous system up on board. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks again for being here.
Yes.
Goodbye.